Hello, welcome back.
Hi everyone.
Josh is here.
Yes, I'm. Well, I'm not.
Well,
I am.
not physically here, but you're here through the computer.
Through the magical invention of technology.
Yeah. Back again for another lockdown. We do apologise for last time. There was a couple of technical issues and delays and stuff. It's just obviously sometimes this happens with connections and that. Hopefully it won't happen this time. If it does, we apologise. We'll try and edit it down as best we can.
Yeah, we've been talking for the last 5-10 minutes and had no issues, so
yeah,
I don't think there'll be any issues today.
So yeah, usual, subscribe. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Apple Music, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look for Angle Slam Podcast. But as of the moment, this is Angle Lock, episode 4, I think it is, where we ask each other questions about the product. Josh is going first.
Yes, and you get us twice this week because it's sort of in the next 7 days because Money in the Bank.
So we're doing Money in the Bank.
Yeah, which I don't know when you listeners will listen to it, but I'm saying that'll probably be a Tuesday recording because I got work on the Monday.
Yeah.
Stuff. But anyway, this is now. I'm going to kick off with good old JR.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He's, in my opinion, this might actually add to your answer here. I see him as almost like the godfather of wrestling because great commentator, but he's done a lot behind the scenes and stuff. Do you see JR as not underrated, either overrated or just underrated or overrated? Basically, I was going to say another word that escapes me.
Neither. I think he's perfect. I can't say he's underrated because he's not. He's been given all the accolades that he deserves and he's done everything he can for the product. And he's not overrated, not by a long stretch, because he just, anything he applies himself to, he ends up being the best at it. And it shows how great he is because it's clear and obvious that him and Vince McMahon don't get on for most part. Yet Vince kept him around for so long and everything because he knew how good he was at his job. So that speaks enough of a volume to know how big of a deal he is.
The only reason I brought it up is sometimes this is one of Punk's problems when you watch some of the old product or even the present product. Vince can't separate business and personal.
Yeah.
And there's so many episodes where he's just trying to embarrass or bury JR, which isn't value to the story. It was just for the sake of embarrassing JR. From the fans' perspective, why? There must be something going behind the scenes. But with AEW and some of the old episodes I've watched of WWF, not WWE, WWF.
Hit the panda with the chair.
Oh, God. All right, yes. He did fuck up a lot. And I don't know if I was more forgiving back then and I'm forgiving now because of how much I respect and love JR. But it's okay, with the amount of fuck-ups he used to do, why do we like him that much? There's something about him that's just comforting as a commentator.
Yeah,
and
it's his voice. It's just he's able to talk you through a match perfectly. It's the same as Mauro Ranallo in NXT. He's just he's the new JR in a sense that he knows his craft so well that he just knows how to talk you into a match, even a match that you're not even that bothered about. Even the matches at the moment with no crowds whatsoever, obviously that takes away a lot. But Mauro's managed to make me invested in these NXT matches. I mean, I'm invested in some of them anyway, but then there's the other ones, just the random ones and everything that I'm not that bothered about, and he makes me care. And it's the same thing with JR. Even if it was a random standard match on a Smackdown or a Raw, he'd make me give a shit because he put so much passion into his craft.
Yeah, I was literally just about to use the word passion. I think that was what did it. I mean, there might be just a big factor of me going, well, I love him because I grew up with him. It's that old school factor. He was there first, so that's what I know, and I'll stick with it. But with what's his name? Forget again, Ranallo, or whatever his name
Mauro Ranallo. I can't even say it properly. It's a difficult one to pronounce.
Mauro.
We'll go with Mauro.
I think what I've seen and heard with NXT and what he does, he's probably done less fuck ups than JR ever did. He's always on the ball. Yeah. He never gets like names wrong or moves wrong and all that stuff. And he's got some passion behind it. And yet, for some reason, if it came down to him and JR, I think I'd still pick JR. And maybe not so much now, but back in the day, he had so much passion with whatever storyline it was. You believed it was real at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But maybe because at the time we were that young, we did think it was real. You know, it's hard to say. And as far we're just going by the commentator stuff at the minute, but he's done so much behind the scenes with talent relations and all that stuff, which I think is almost underappreciated. I don't think a lot of the fans know how much he's actually done.
Well, it's because it's not his main focal point, is it? It's not the thing he's known for.
No, he's not. But for the most part, everybody, all his peers that talk about him just have so much respect for him.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Jim Ross, I don't think Stone Cold would have come back in 2003.
No.
But I think in one of the podcasts, I think it was the Vince one with Austin, he goes, do you think you and CM Punk would have got back together and sorted it out, sooner when he first walked out if there was a JR there? Because they haven't got a JR like that anymore who can be the middleman and go, look, you guys get together, we can sort this out. I really can't think of anyone close but maybe Heyman.
I was going to say it's Heyman, isn't it? He's the only thing.
But he's had just as strange relationship with Vince as JR has.
Yeah.
So I think if it came down to JR and Heyman, I think Vince would say, I hate Heyman more. Heyman he knows how to wind people up.
Yeah, he does.
And I'm not talking about his character as a person.
He knows how to be a dick.
Yeah, so, I never thought you'd go, oh, yeah, he's overrated, but I just thought...
He's not underrated either.
Huh?
He's not underrated either.
No, he's just... We accept him for what he is, and we know he's a legend. And as like I say, personally, even though it's questionable at the minute, Vince is kind of the god of wrestling. He created WWE. It's the biggest company in the world. Doesn't mean I've got a like god right now. So, yeah, Vince is the god of wrestling. I see JR's the godfather to it.
Yeah.
And if you want to get anywhere in the business, I'd say go and see JR.
Yeah.
It'll point you in the right direction. But, I just thought, get your opinion on that.
My first question, being as we've already spoke about him already, my question was, as we've been having these teases with the Truth Will Be Heard and the ring light and that whole thing going on, there was a thing on Twitter that popped up, and it's literally someone, it's trolling the fans, that's all it is, but people have put their stock behind it because another video popped up, it happened on WWE Backstage, and then they put it up on Twitter, and then upside down writing it says, do I have everybody's attention now? So everybody straight away is thinking that this hacker guy is going to be CM Punk, and it's not. Of course, it's not. But my point of the question was, if CM Punk was to return, how would you want it to happen? Because this is not the way I would want it to happen if it was going to happen.
No, I mean,
but how would you want it to happen if you could pick the moment for him to come back and do it properly?
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I've been playing with a CM Punk question for a while, but I didn't really know what to ask because we've kind of been talking about it since he walked out on and off.
Yeah.
For years, I'm like, do you think you will?
Every single time it's in Chicago, I was like, do you think?
It was for a while, and then the chance for there, and then it just kind of dwindled away, and we just knew it wasn't going to happen. Right, as far as the ring hacker thing goes, I love that story. Unfortunately, I think it's Ali.
Yeah, it's pointing towards it, isn't it?
Yeah, and the whole do I have everyone's attention now is very clever.
Yeah, it's a troll. That's all it is, isn't it? It's a trolling the fans. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, great vocal point. It's the same with on the subject of CM Punk. I think we might have spoke about this in the last podcast. He was on WWE Backstage. Again, a thing that I thought I'd never see happen. I just thought we'd stay away from WWE for good. And they were talking about Ronda Rousey's comments.
Oh, yeah.
And Renee asked Punk straight away first, like, what do you think of this? Punk pretty much grinning from ear to ear, laughing.
Yeah, I remember that, actually. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, he goes, she's doing her fucking job.
Yeah.
And he goes, look, if it's real, it's real. And that's her opinion, and we don't have to worry about it. She's gone, and that's it. Same with me. He goes, if it's a work, brilliant.
She's done you.
And I agree.
Yeah.
She's doing her job. So, in the same sense, WWE doing their job. They're getting people talking with this whole, do I have everyone's attention now? Of course, it's a throwback to Punk. If it is Ali, he can say, I said that because I feel I've been overlooked. And he kind of has. Mm. So, that's what I think about that. But as far as Punk coming back, the dream would be that this is like, do you want a realistic one or a pipe dream?
It's just whatever your first thought that comes into your head when you're thinking, how do I get him back in the ring?
Oh, are we talking like how we do it in a let's say, is it how I do it in a likely scenario, or can I go with it as if it's never going to happen?
Yeah, probably the likely scenario, really. Maybe more realistic. It doesn't need to be like a full story from end to end. It just needs to be the return and how to make that right.
Yeah, the as if was going to be Austin returns, says I want one more match. Who's going to step up? Punk's music hits. Yeah. That kind of that.
Oh yeah, never going to happen. Never going to happen.
I don't. It's really difficult here. I mean, I'm trying to think of the roster right now. I mean, I kind of leaning towards Seth because of what Seth was saying a few months back. Oh man, I think just to throw people off of out of nowhere. Keep Punk on backstage, WWE backstage for a while. It keeps some sort of connection there. Maybe not next year, but the next. Just throw him in at the 30 spot of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble seems the smartest option.
Yeah, because even if it doesn't get leaked, then oh my god, the pop will be amazing. However, if it does get leaked to the same with Edge, of like we're 95% sure he's there. If it gets to that 30 spot and everyone's just like on bated breath, like, is it? Come on. And you hear that, oh!
People go nuts. I think I pissed myself in excitement.
I mean, the place would have, I don't care if I'm not at a walkabout bar. I'd be in my own house just like backflipping. And if he does come down to the ring in the Rumble, I think Seth does need to be standing in the middle of the ring waiting for him.
Yeah.
And then Punk just goes straight up, nose to nose. And it could potentially start up a match for that year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I take it you had like a similar...
Rumble was like the obvious kind of one that makes the most amount of sense because it works really well for so many people, including Edge, just gone. However, the other one I thought about was, and this is down to as long as nothing gets spoiled, because if it gets spoiled, it doesn't really have the same effect. This is if it's a complete shock. They announced everybody for the men's Money in the Bank that year, except for one person, and he's the person that comes out. The reason why is because he won the WWE Championship at Money in the Bank. He is also, I think, the only person to win the Money in the Bank briefcase twice. So to go for a third and have that as his return, and then he could cash in later that night if he wanted to. I just think it'd still have a hell of a pop out of it. Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of going to cheat on the cusp of your question here with two little ones because one I have to now, otherwise it'll be too late by the time we do the next one. Will you be annoyed if I get that they're trying to keep the fans invested with this lockdown thing at the minute by just most of the time trying to go balls to the wall with stuff? Do you think it'd be a good idea or a bad idea if someone cashes in that night?
What? It's terrible. No, you've got to play the long game with this one, 100%. It can't.
I agree, but with the climate, do you think? I don't want them to, but do you think they will?
No, I don't think they will this time.
I really hope you're right. As far as the Money in the Bank Punk thing, I agree. It'd be like a full circle thing with Money in the Bank, but it has to be in Chicago.
100%.
Because, Money in the Bank 2011 in Chicago, this is almost when that whole revolution started. And then, it'll be like a full circle kind of thing.
Or even, like I said, announce everybody for the Money in the Bank and just play it off like that. And then literally just before the match begins, someone gets beaten up backstage and then Punk takes their place. Just to throw them completely off. Because if we don't announce a person and then it's going to be in Chicago, people are going to start speculating. But if you announce every competitor, then you won't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If it turns out he is this hacker, I'll still be happy.
Oh yeah.
It's hard because I genuinely didn't think he'd ever come back, and then he does this WWE backstage thing, and it's almost like, there's a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
I don't blame his reasons for why he walked out. If he did go against Triple H at WrestleMania 30. If that plan had gone ahead, would you be invested? Or
I suppose for a little bit, because it's like hopefully Punk wins and gets that one over on Triple H. But there's so many more better people he could have gone against.
Yeah, I agree. If he'd gone ahead, I think the storyline would have been great. But I think they kind of fucked it up by a couple of years ago. They had their first clash at like Night of Champions, whatnot. If they had never faced each other before, I think it would have been a bit more special.
Yeah.
If Punk comes back, then great. But I'm still leaning towards more unlikely than likely.
It's not happening.
Right. Is it? Take it. You ready for my next one?
Yes, it's question 2 from you to me.
Yes. Themed pay-per-views. Right. I've kind of been very vocal in the past of like, I'm okay with just regular old pay-per-views. Just like, have a name of a pay-per-view that means nothing, just Unforgiven, No Mercy, whatever. And then you've got a whole playground to play with of like, we can do any match we need to. We'd like to. Because at the minute with these themed pay-per-views, it's almost like, it's called Hell in a Cell, you have to have Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
TLC, you have to have TLC, regardless if the story works or not. I get why they do the theme pay-per-views, because it's a draw. You're going to go like, definitely watch it Hell in a Cell, definitely watch TLC. So, do you think, I think the only one, obviously, leave WrestleMania out of this, WrestleMania is never going to be touched. The only pay-per-view, I think, in the year that is just regular is the June one, Backlash, Stomping Ground, whatever it's going to be called. Do you think they should go fully themed pay-per-views, like every pay-per-view is themed apart from Mania, or just go back to just have a basic name and go with it?
I'd agree with you. I'd go for your basic pay-per-views, and then again you've got a massive toolbox of different gimmicks and themes and stuff that you can use at any point when it recalls on it. I would say maybe keep either TLC or Extreme Rules as they are, but the rest of them, get rid of them and then use them for something else. So you got your SummerSlam, your Rumble, your Mania, Survivor Series, and Money in the Bank. Maybe have one more, so like I say, like an Extreme Rules or a TLC, but the rest of them, get rid of them and you can use them in other pay-per-views. Yeah, it makes it better because if it serves the story, it makes it more sense. It could be a nice surprise or a nice bit to add a bit of flavour to a match. But if you already know it's coming, then you're expecting it, so you're not as excited. When it's a Hell in a Cell, it's like, it's Hell in a Cell. I'm looking forward to seeing the match, sure, but I'm expecting Carnage, and if I don't get Carnage, I'm disappointed.
Well, this is it. I mean, when not too long, well, it probably is a long time ago now. Back in 2012, where Taker said, "Look, I want another match with you, Triple H. Give me another shot. I know I won last year, but you kicked the shit out of me. I need to come back."
Yeah.
And Triple H kept saying no. When he finally said, "Okay, yeah," I remember kind of sitting there going, "Great, but this is the third time. how are you going to spice it up? And then as soon as you just bellowed Hell in a Cell, I was like, oh, because it comes out of left field.
Yeah.
It's got that shock.
It surprises you, and because you weren't expecting it, it's a shock, and it adds flavour, like I said, and because you were just expecting a regular match, now it doesn't matter what happens in Hell in a Cell, it's going to be better than what you were thinking before.
Yeah, exactly. It's the anticipation.
Yeah.
And I know if you know it's coming, like the pay-per-views, there is that sense of anticipation, but it takes away that surprise factor of, if we were sitting in now and we knew what the WrestleMania main event was next year, we might be looking forward to it, but I love that there's that mystery to it still.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going to get, so it's that you're tuning in to find out. If we'd gone... I was going to say Money in the Bank. It's kind of like the fifth of the big four now. That's kind of edging its way into making it the big five.
Yeah.
Financially, it makes the money. No pun intended. It's not going to go anywhere. But personally, I liked Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It added that flavour to Mania. Not that it needed any more flavour, but
they can still do their ladder matches and that, and it still has the same purpose, really.
Yeah, I love ladder matches, but I don't want them to overkill them all the time. Because
I'd say do it every other year.
What, Money in the Bank or the
no? Just a ladder match in general at Mania. Every other year is more than enough. Yeah,
because if you look at the calendar year, you get the Money in the Bank ladder match, you get the ladder match at Mania most of the time, and TLC is a ladder match. And there's probably 2 or 3 thrown in between there as well. It's a bit overkill.
Yeah.
If we weren't going to go just fuck it, let's do all of them themed apart from leave the big four alone. I'd get rid of the Backlash, Stomping Ground, whatever it's going to be called, and I wouldn't bring back King of the Ring. I'd make it Queen of the Ring. Because
that'd be quite interesting.
I mean, don't make it like the all-female pay-per-view, like Evolution. Still have a mixed card of the men and the women, but the main
thing is for the women.
It's a women's tournament here, Queen of the Ring. And I think it'd just be fresh. And again, I've been saying this with King of the Ring, make it mean something. So Queen of the Ring, if you win it, you get a title shot at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
These things have got to mean something.
Yeah, otherwise they're pointless. They're just a gimmick, and that's it.
But it's kind of that's the way the Andre the Giant Battle Royal's becoming at the minute.
Yeah,
you get a Giant Andre trophy, then what?
Yeah, and it's meant to give you that push, and it never happens for anyone.
No, I sometimes have to remind myself that Mojo won one of them.
Yeah.
Oh god, but yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking the pay-per-views, like I say, because I'm always going to tune into them, but they can do a lot better.
Yeah,
I think they need to rethink it and just say...
This is their opportunity to rethink it as well. While we're going through this pandemic and things are changing constantly, this is their opportunity to rethink things. They're already doing it with Mania, potentially making that 2 nights. So rethink your entire calendar. Update it, streamline it, just make it a better product.
It still boggles my mind that they didn't... I don't know how it's going to look in June in America, but I still don't know why they didn't switch Money in the Bank and Backlash around.
Yeah.
You want an audience for Money in the Bank more than Backlash.
100%.
So, maybe they might have their reasons. The pay-per-view might have already been in books, whatever. I don't know. I really don't know. Clutching at straws here.
Right, okay, so it's my second question to you, and on the breath of Money in the Bank. My question is, there is rumours going round that apparently someone is falling off that tower, Titan Tower, right? Because Becky mentioned it in an interview saying that apparently Vince was teaching someone to bump off a tower the other day, and now everybody's going around with these strong rumours that someone is going off it. I think it's like a pre-recorded thing, I already guess. Like someone falls and then the next scene you see is them hitting the floor at the bottom. I don't know how it's going to work, but apparently it's happening. My question is, who do you think is going to be going off that roof? And it's got to be the Money in the Bank matches, like the main match, because they're happening simultaneously. So who is it that you think's most likely to be going off that roof?
How tall's the tower?
It's I don't know, 5, 10 stories maybe. I don't know.
Right. Okay. If they do fall, it's got to be through something. Because if you fall from a tower and they make it look like you just hit the concrete,
you're dead.
Yeah,
you're dead.
That means you're not coming back. You're dead, and they've killed someone on a TV show.
I mean, AJ was buried alive, but he's back.
Yeah. I know. I don't know why we let that slide all the time.
I know.
But someone falling off a building, unless you're mankind, you're dead.
Yeah.
Right. Have they established in the rumour if it's a man or a woman they're talking about?
No, they haven't.
Right. I don't know why, but I don't think it's going to be one of the women.
Okay. The only person I could think of women-wise would be Nia, but...
I mean, hey, oh no, she's not in the match. I was going to say, throw Tamina off, maybe she won't climb back up, and that'll be nice. I don't know. I think purely because of his character, they might go with Aleister Black.
Really?
Because there's been talk about AJ was the one saying, I don't care who've got to throw off the building, I'll do it. And Aleister was the one who responded saying, you just try it. Yeah. And with his character, I think they might try and start experimenting with not mythical stuff, but, he's got a little bit of supernatural abilities here. They can push the fact that even thrown off a tower, he'll be gone for a while. Whoever gets thrown off ain't going to be on Raw the following night.
No. Unless it's AJ.
Yeah.
That's his new gimmick. Like, he's just the immortal, phenomenal one.
Yeah. Well, okay, I've got two answers now. Right? If it's Aleister and, they could delve into a limited part of his supernatural abilities because he's got that dark gothic thing, and he comes back, and if it is AJ that throws him off, AJ's like, how the hell are you still up? And he's like, I went back to the black and now I'm back. There. Didn't mean to rhyme, but there you go. The only other one I'm thinking of is Daniel Bryan, and then because he's becoming part-time, it'd be
it's a reason to get rid of him for a bit. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, in a way, it'd be interesting to see if someone gets thrown off the tower. But in another way, I don't know if they should go in that direction. It seems a little bit...
Oh, yeah, it seems ridiculous, but at the end of the day, this whole pay-per-view is ridiculous. So it's just kind of like they're leaning into the stupidity of it because they haven't really got much choice. They're backed into a corner. So, yes, in a regular time, I'd say this is ridiculous. Why are you doing this? But this is a ridiculous pay-per-view, and it could end up making it even more entertaining, depending on who it is. I think it might be Otis.
Really?
He might, just because it's like maybe he get into that point where he's up near the thing, and then maybe like Dolph appears out of nowhere and screws him out of it and throws him off, and there's like some confusion with him and Mandy or something, and it just furthers their story, and then he falls down and he's gone for the next few weeks.
Well, the thing is, if you get thrown off a 10-story building, you're gone for months. So
he'll bounce back.
What?
He'll bounce back.
I don't think they do it to Otis because he's white hot at the minute.
Yeah, he is.
But not white hot, but he's gaining momentum.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be not the right idea to take him away from the Mandy Rose storyline factor. I don't see it being Corbin.
No, it's not going to be Ray.
Maybe Ray. Again, I don't know how long Ray's going to stick around for.
Yeah, it's not long.
Or they might shock us and it'd be one of the women. But with the women, I really don't know who they...
So you're going Aleister Black then?
Yeah, probably more, either Aleister or Bryan.
Cool.
I can't decide between the two. Me? Last one?
Yes. So question 3 from you to me.
Last one. You might have known this was coming at some point. Taking into account the timing, the ages, the person, and just the whole thing, was it right to end the streak when it did?
Why are you asking me this question? You're dragging yourself through it more than you're dragging me through it, mate.
I've come to peace with it.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't.
It's been 6 years.
No, you haven't. It's been 6 months. It's not funny.
But, I mean, I want to hear your answer first, so I'll give you my opinion, right?
Do I think it was the right time to end the streak with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30?
Yeah.
No.
Again, taken into age and...
No, I don't.
Everything.
No.
You don't think it was right?
No. I understand their point is the fact that who is the person who looks legitimately capable of taking Taker out, but we're not talking about the legitimacy of who's the one to take it out. He's the Phenom. It's quite kind of, theatrics and all that kind of stuff and smoke and mirrors sometimes with certain parts of his character. So it didn't make a difference to me who it was as long as the story was right and it made the most sense and I was behind that person enough to think they can legitimately do it. It didn't matter upon size, but that, again, is down to Vince, isn't it? You just think, it's the biggest guy that's going to be able to do it, and Brock was the biggest guy at that time. I don't mind the timing. WrestleMania 30, it's a big milestone. Taking the streak away, then I was fine with. I just don't agree with the person that was the one to do it. I know it made Lesnar a superstar, but he didn't really need it anyway because he was already one. In my opinion, it should have been CM Punk the year before. Either that or it was going to be Bray the year after.
Yeah,
those are the only two people I can see. It was either going to be Punk the year before, which apparently was something they toyed with quite a lot before they changed their mind. And then obviously the following year, he went against Bray. And even though none of us believed it was going to happen because Bray wasn't getting the traction he should have, he was one of the ones I generally thought that he could have passed the torch to. He didn't pass the torch to Lesnar because Lesnar had already taken the torch a while ago.
I really don't know. With Bray, yeah. And maybe if they'd held out a little longer, Bray could have done it. But because who knows, if Bray had beat the streak at WrestleMania 31, he could still be the character he was back then, and we wouldn't have got the Fiend because maybe that character would have got traction and stuff. But
yeah, but again, the Fiend was a means to an end. He was failing as this character because they weren't giving him the time of day, so he had to reinvent himself. He wouldn't have had to.
That's what I'm saying. If he beat the streak as his old character, who knows where that character would have gone.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't. I think they made the right decision with Punk because if they gave it to Punk, I don't know. He had kind of, shafted the company for the last year and a half with the way he talks and stuff. So why would you reward that with the streak? I don't know. There's something in my head that's thinking, Austin asked this to Vince, and Vince said it was all about timing. And again, looking at the roster, and not just the roster then, but the future roster, and take his age, who could you buy into beating the Undertaker? And I agree with what you said about Brock. He was already a superstar. He didn't need it. But it gave him a bit of extra fire, and now it's like, right, if Brock can end the streak, Brock can destroy anyone.
Yeah, but I always believe that Brock could destroy anyone anyway, and taking into the age account, I think that section is completely null and void because he's carried on doing WrestleManias afterwards. If that was his last match, then I'd be like, okay, it's cushioned the blow a bit, but he's continued to do more matches since then, so he's had more time to build up another star to be the one to take it off him. So, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, the streak could have ended, but that means it should have been the end of The Undertaker there and then. Or if you were going to carry on an extra few years, you don't end it just yet. You know what I mean? It was, the age, should have come into it, but it didn't in the end because he's still wrestling at Manias today.
Yeah, but again, back then they probably didn't know that. I don't think even Taker knew that.
No, maybe not, but... normally don't you? The day that you decide to yourself, I'm done, they just know it, don't they? Either it's taken from you from like Edge, or you just know that you wake up one morning and you go, I don't do this anymore. So he knew full well that he wasn't 100% convinced with himself that he was done.
No, I mean, on the same vein, I was going to mention this anyway. There's an element of me that's looking forward to Money in the Bank. I'm more looking forward to this documentary miniseries to do with The Undertaker straight after The Last Ride.
Yeah.
Because he talks out of character about how he feels health-wise and whatnot. With every opponent he's had since, and we've already discussed Bray, Shane, if we talk about his opponents and the streak was still intact, Shane ended this streak.
No.
God, if Roman did, oh my God! I mean, I think I would have boycotted the whole company by now.
Well, he beat him, didn't he?
Yeah, but if the streak was still intact then and that had gone through, oh!
I mean, we're already booing him just with him winning.
Yeah, could you imagine the extra level of hatred we would have had?
You wouldn't have been able to keep him face. You wouldn't have been able to keep him face at all.
No, it's if instead of looking at the opponents he had after Brock, if I look at the past ones, don't get me wrong, most of them absolutely phenomenal wrestlers, but character-wise, they weren't the phenom.
Yeah. Right, we're back again. Sorry if there's any bit of delay there. We had a cut off. So, as you were saying, Josh.
As I was saying, yes. I was saying, instead of looking at the opponents he had afterwards, the ones he had before, majority of them were excellent wrestlers. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, all that stuff. But character-wise, I don't think their characters could hold a candle to the character of The Undertaker.
No.
And then you bring in The Beast. I mean, on paper, it's like, whether you're a mythical god or legend or not, to me, you're still a man when I'm a beast. Of course I'm going to kick your ass. And he did. And the match, I think what didn't help is that the match was a lackluster.
It was crap, weren't it?
He got injured early on. Even he's not sure what happened. He knows it's not Brock's fault. As a fan of The Undertaker, of course, I'd always want the streak to live. But I think taking who did it out the equation for a minute, I think it was probably the right time. Because I agree. I disagree on the timing. It's just the person and the fact that he continued wrestling afterwards. It was like, well, that shouldn't have been the case. Yeah, it's again of all the opponents. If you really focus on the kayfabe of it, if you look at all the opponents Taker's had at WrestleMania, the one that stands out as legitimate as like in a fight is what I know it's wrestling, but they always try and promote it as they're fighting in the ring. You'd look at Brock and go, that guy can do it.
Yeah.
And Taker's actually apparently a really good boxer, but for my money, if Taker and Lesnar's ever got into a real fight, my money's on Lesnar again.
Well, yeah, it would be, because he's UFC, isn't he?
Yeah, so I think they tried to capitalise on that. Even I think Brock's mid-40s, and how fast and strong and agile he is, even at like mid-40s, is scary.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's why they call him the Beast.
Yeah. My final question then, question 3 from me to you. It's based around the pandemic to a point. The main question basically is, do you think we'll be back to a crowd pay-per-view by SummerSlam? Which basically means, will we have crowds and everything back to as it should be by mid-August, by SummerSlam?
You mean like full capacity?
Yeah.
It's really hard to say, because obviously at the minute, and rightly so, well, you and me and the rest of the UK are focusing on their own country and their own lockdown restrictions and rules. Obviously, WWE is American-based. I really don't know. I mean, the numbers could spike in America, or it could just drop off the map. You don't know. Fingers crossed, yes. But it would not surprise me if, even if SummerSlam happened with a crowd, there'd still be restrictions there. As far as like us going to Birmingham to watch it, I don't think that's going to be on the table.
That's not happening. I mean, there was rumours going around that they might open pubs and stuff in August, but they didn't say when in August.
Bad connection again.
Oh, you're dropping off again? Sorry, guys. We just had another drop-off. Anyway, yeah, there was rumours going around that August time we might be opening up pubs and stuff in the UK again, but it's not saying when. So, I mean, that's irrelevant for us. It's just, what I want to know is whether you think it will be full capacity and the actual pay-per-view itself.
Yeah. If we are, we'll be. I still think we'd be extremely lucky to do so. If I was a betting man, I know I am a betting man, but I'm not going to bet on this. I'd go with no. I think there'll be some people in there, but it won't be full capacity. However, if I was going to bet on it, I wouldn't have bet a few weeks ago that wrestling would be deemed as an essential work.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's amazing what can happen when you've got money in the right pockets.
I mean, I love wrestling, but it is not an essential job. And I think we said this in the last podcast. Again, I know it's still happening. I do read the results at the arena. I just can't do it. It's not the same.
Yeah, I mean, I've been skipping out on stuff as well. I mean, I've been literally watching one, maybe two videos on YouTube, and that's it. I'm just not as interested. And I know it's not necessarily their fault, but it's just. No, it's not. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably have to agree. I don't see it being full capacity by SummerSlam. I reckon it'll be like a 50% capacity. I think they won't be allowed to go up in the rafters. It will literally just be on the ground, and you'll be separated by at least a meter. And I think that's all you're going to have. It's going to be like a little house show type thing. I reckon that's what they're going to go with.
I think mid-autumn we can expect full capacities again. I mean, this will mean nothing to most listeners, but we've got our Boob Out Federation thing.
Yeah, obviously our own league thing, which has been put on hold since before Mania. Because we didn't think it would go on this long, so we just hold out, and then when it goes back to normal, we'll start again. But no, it's just been none of us have been doing it.
It's the right decision.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like it's hard to get invested when it's not. To me, it just doesn't count.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and we all agreed to kind of just sit there and it's like, let's just start this all again when it goes back to normal.
So it's another thing to look forward to once they've got some sense of norm. Maybe we can start up our Boob Out thing when they've got some capacity in. I mean, we'd have to talk with the others first.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't get me wrong. It's when everything is back to normal, that first weekday, whatever, everything would just feel so good, especially the first month. Pubs will be full, restaurants will be full, everything will sell out, gigs, whatever, and you'll be excited for stuff. Even I said to my dad, I'm not a football fan, but I'm even looking forward to seeing some football back on TV.
I'm just excited about even just going for a walk, like a nice walk somewhere, or going to the garden centre with the missus on a Sunday, just something like that. It's just like so simple.
You have to go out for a walk.
No, but you can't travel to go for a walk. You can't go to a specific walk, like a long one, and spend all day doing it. You're only allowed to do your 15 minutes of exercise, so it's not the same.
I mean, to be honest, that first Raw or Smackdown, whatever, where there's some kind of good capacity, I think the crowd would be popping to every little thing.
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, because especially I think the fans are really holding out to give Drew the pop he deserves.
100%.
I don't think they're going to be like, oh, look, there's Drew, he's been champion for a while. Yeah, I think they'll be like, you didn't get it at Mania, we're giving it to you now. And I think he really deserves it.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I'll be honest, I wouldn't be necessarily against him having it taken off him on the Raw before the pay-per-view that's full capacity for the first time, and then him win it back at that pay-per-view just so he can get himself a nice pop.
Either that, or if you really want to create heat for a new heel character, if, I don't know, say for God forbid it was Jinder. If Jinder Mahal took the WWE Championship off Drew the Raw before the capacity comes back, that following Raw, when there is a crowd and Jinder comes out, the boos he'd be received. And Jinder, I like Jinder as a person, character, but his character's okay. He's just not. He hasn't got that it factor for me.
Yeah.
But as Jinder's character and who he is, I think he'd relish all those boos. I think he'd hold the title again and be like, "Yeah, bring it on." Or Corbin.
Oh. But there's a lot of strong rumours that he might be the one to get the briefcase again.
He was my pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite strong rumours.
But I don't know. But we'll see.
Have to see.
We finally got through it. Sorry.
Yeah, we got through it. Yeah, again, apologies for lack of connection and drop-offs and stuff. I'm trying to edit it out as best I can.
But yes. We
got Money in the Bank on Sunday, so we'll probably be recording it on Tuesday. Hopefully, get it up Tuesday evening. So everybody keep a lookout for that because it will be coming. And then we'll probably do another lockdown one again, depending on what happens with rules and everything at the end of this week, because we don't know what's happening yet.
No, of course we don't. I mean, even if some of the restrictions are lifted to the point that you can go to other people's houses, like, if you don't have symptoms, blah blah blah. I might be even doing it across the table from you. It's up to you.
Yeah, I still think we're going to have some form of lockdown. It's just it may be relaxed in certain places. So I'm pretty sure we'll probably still be doing the lockdown podcast for a few more weeks yet.
Yeah, so you'll be hearing from us.
Yes.
Don't you worry.
So like, subscribe, and we'll see you in a few days.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.